Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to week 33 of the 2020-2021 PGA season, the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth, Texas. Up here as usual. We are, I wouldn't say a hangover week. I do think it's obviously close to home for me, about 2.5 hours south, but pretty decent field. Obviously last year we had this was the reboot event, so much stronger field, much bigger field than it had ever been. I think they allowed the full 156 in. Back to a true invitational type format with 120 guys this week. Still T65 and ties, so a little bit tougher than say last week to get through the cut, but needless to say, I think rewinding last week first, and then we'll get to that. Obviously a tremendous event with Phil winning, a little bit heart-crushing for guys that had Brooks tickets like me. You know, sharing texts back and forth yesterday, you know, more Saturday night into Sunday. I was like, hey, I'm not against Phil. I think it's a cool moment, no different than Tiger back at 2019 Masters. Albeit I had a ticket on Tiger, so that made it a little bit easier to root for him. But I said, hey, if I had Brooks and Neiman tickets, Neiman was going to be kind of a long shot, but he was still, I think, -2 going into Sunday. So he still, come to find out, he shoots 4 under, which wasn't impossible yesterday, especially going out a little earlier. We saw Answer shoot 7 under, saw several of them. You know, those are the only 2 I had tickets on that were live. So I didn't really think Neiman at all. So I was like, hey, win-win. If Phil wins, it's iconic. It's historic. Super happy for him. If Brooks wins, we cash another outright. I can't remember. I think 45 to 1 is what I released it at, maybe 40. But obviously didn't go our way on that. DFS was train wreck. Yeah, not good for me at all. Had a lot of good calls. I just didn't play them right. Loved Brooks. Talked about it over and over. Berger was kind of my fade of the week. Friday just kind of summed up how the week was going to go. DJ, Schauffele, Adam Scott, and a couple others all got to +6, missed the cut. And Berger shoots 3 under. You know, good for him to get to make the cut. He was the highest owned person in the 4-4-4-4. And probably one of the highest owned across the board. Top 3 in probably every contest almost. So him getting into the cut after shooting +7 Thursday, kind of, you know, it was a chalky cut make. Answer got in there. He wasn't really struggling. He was +2 going into the day Friday. But Berger was a big one. I was like, if Berger misses and somehow DJ, and I didn't really think Schauffele would come close to missing it. He shot +1, but felt he got a little momentum Thursday afternoon. He did not carry that over. Really had struggled the last 4 or 5 holes. DJ makes a hell of an eagle on 7, and then turned right around and bogeys 8 and birdies 9, misses the cut by 1. I really didn't get too mad about it. I'm like, hey, these guys, like myself, I got to go back, look in the mirror, figure out what I'm doing wrong, where I missed, where I didn't. I mean, I'm not going to get mad about a guy. I mean, +6. If you can't make a +6 cut or +5, probably wasn't your week anyways. Look at Berger. I mean, he made it. I think he wound up at +10. So he still didn't pay off at all. But getting 6-6 helped in some instances, depending on your contest. So certainly Berger is a better play than, you know, me going with DJ or Schauffele. DJ becomes the first #1 ranked player in the world to miss back-to-back major cuts since '97, I think they said. Greg Norman. Schauffele, never play him. Say I never play him. Talked about it last week. Was like, all right, I'm going in. He missed the cut. I think it was his first major. He's missed the cut. So it was one of those weeks. You know, I spent a lot of time last night reviewing, deep diving, looking at the people that won, how they got there. Not even the people that won, but also top, you know, 20 type lineups in those big contests. You know, I reviewed a lot of the guys that max out, see how they built compared to mine. I had some good lineups. I mean, Had some Brooks lefty lineups. I had lefty. I was 2-3x the field on lefty. I was 4-5x the field on Brooks. I was 5-ish x the field on Fowler, who gets a T9 there. A lot of those plays hit. The middle range was all right for me. I just missed up top. And we do that. I mean, DJ and Shoffley were 2 of my 4 highest owned, I think. It's just not going to be a good week. There's no way around it. I chose the wrong guys up top. Even was going back and forth between Speed Chalk and Hovland Chalk to see, which one would be better there. Hovland kind of faltered a little bit late, but for a while that looked like I made the wrong choice. It was just I want to say frustrating. Like, I've been, I guess, super close at the Masters. Basically a Chris Kirk blow up at Sunday at TPC from having a really good day there. And those, I guess, I don't want to say hurt more, but those were like, all right, I had it, and it was just hard to get over. This one was just like, I didn't build very well. The DJ deal, I don't know, with the knee or whatever. I just think, he just couldn't putt for one. For a while, he just could not putt. We made 13 pars in a row on Thursday and had all kinds of legit good birdie opportunities. So I was like, all right, if he just gets a putter to go on Friday, he'll be all right. Shoffley was a little bit of a surprise because he really never, Scheffler, I'm sorry, I kept saying Shoffley. No, it is Shoffley, Xander. He was +1 and was all right. And then I think his last 7 holes is where he lost it, and then wind up having a putt on 18 to get in. And he missed it. So did JT. So I didn't play JT, but he misses the cut. Just a tough, it's a tough track. Fun, good course. Saturday showdown was okay for me. I think I'm right around break even. Sunday wasn't great. I had too much Brooks. I really thought he was going to play well. Come to find out, he was still on 18 and could have had he birdies, Phil bogeys. They go to a playoff, so it's not the worst day in the world for Brooks, but he had his opportunities. Just his irons that were so fire the first 3 days weren't there. He wasn't as on. Still finished second. You can't hate that. What was he? He was 3 to 5% in most contests. Was still a great play, although the ending made a little sour in your mouth. But at the end of the day, it was a shitty week for me. I own up to that, and you just got to get back to the grind, do better. Nobody cares. So we'll work on that. I'm ready for this week. I feel good coming out the gate. Spent a lot of time in reviewing all that. Woke up this morning fresh, ready to go. So we'll get into it. Use the code SMASH20, get 20% off now. That includes a 7-day free trial. That'll get you a full site membership for a month. It's only 34, or I think it's about 38 bucks or somewhere in that range. You'll get the Charles Schwab this week, the Memorial, a big tournament next week, Palmetto that's replacing the RBC Canadian Open, US Open, the Major, Travelers, another great track, and then Rocket Mortgage. They'll get you 6 tournaments to the day if you did it today. Today's May 24th on Monday, so I think you get the week, we'll get you to June 1st, and then a month package because you get the first week free. We'll get you to July 1st, and I believe that's the day the Rocket Mortgage starts. So come check us out there. If you'd like to get some GC gear, use the code SMASH20, get 20% off. We got the combo packs there, the H3 shirts. I am on the verge. I'm working on the new gear now that I will be putting into stock once we get through just a little bit more. We sold a bunch last week. I appreciate all you guys. If you ordered late on Saturday or Sunday, I'll ship you out tomorrow. Everything else is already shipped out. So look for that in your mailbox. Rate and review us on iTunes. I always do giveaways on Wednesday each week. And in the big drawings for the majors and stuff, I always pick at least one winner from our rate and review on iTunes. That helps us out a lot. Subscribe and like this video for us on YouTube, even if you're not a video watcher. Tell me who you want to fade in the 10K range this week. Fade in the 10K range. Hit the like button on the video for us. Make sure you're subscribed as well. I will give winners out Wednesday for that and tomorrow's Tuesday Tidbits video. Appreciate that. You guys do a good job giving me some feedback there. Listener League is close to being up. I had some delays today. I will get that out as soon as possible. It should be in the audio pod for sure. Going to do 400 this week, back it down a little bit from the major, a little hangover week. Not sure where everybody's at with playing, so we're backing it down just a hair. We did great last week. Appreciate all you guys who jumped in that. Our winner was Jay Kelsey 1. He had Brooks, Cantley, which was kind of the hindsight, high upside people. I talked about Brooks a lot. I talked about Cantley, but I told Kenny on E9 I was only going to go with one of them, and I went with Brooks as my majority one. I think I snuck a little bit of Cantley in the big MME, like my 150 build, but nothing core-wise at all. Scheffler, Answer with a huge Sunday for him. Casey and Wallace, which are all good. So he didn't have lefty, but not a lot of people did. He was like, what, 2% on average? I didn't have much of them. I think I had like 4 or 4.5% in the MMEs. He was not in my core, but you know, that's all you needed. In some contests like these smaller 1 to 3 max, you didn't necessarily need Phil to win. The Brooks Cantley combo was great. It looked really good for a while there on Sunday, and Cantley kind of, I think he went +4 with the triple coming in to lose a little bit of finishing position points there. All right, we're done with that week. Right around the corner from having another major with the U.S. Open. But first, we are at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas. A par 70, 7,200, 4 par 3s, 2 par 5s. You know, this is a course. Always go check out Kenny Kim and his breakdown. He posts his premium article as well. From my perspective, I have been there. I've walked it. Have not played it, but I've been there a few times. Being in the right spot off the tee is important. The rough isn't as penalizing. But if you miss in the wrong spot or you get blocked out by trees where you only have certain shots, it can hurt you. So knowing where to miss is just as important as anything else off the tee. Not very small, but small, big grass greens, usually firm and fast. Interested to see or hear what kind of effect the winter storm, winter freeze had there. I know a lot of courses around here in Oklahoma and even in North Texas and a lot of Texas. It's had a lot of winter freeze and winter kill that we just hadn't seen around here. And I think Texas literally 100 years since they had that big of a deep freeze. And we're just, you know, our grounds and stuff aren't prepared for that, like maybe up north. So I don't think it'll be a big issue, but I know there are some, you know, issues with that. Being a PGA Tour event, I imagine they get all the resources in the world to get it fixed up, but something to keep an eye on, maybe compressors or anything. It's not as warm right now here in the southern states as it normally is in May. This week it's supposed to start warming up. We got rain today. I know Texas did as well. A little bit of rain tomorrow. Looks clear after that until Friday, but it has been fairly wet here in the last couple weeks, mixed with not as warm temperatures as you typically see. By this time of the year, May, we're flirting with 90s already. Sometimes have hit 100, but definitely flirting with 90s. We haven't hit 90 yet. And I don't think Texas has, and their forecast for this week doesn't have them hitting 90s at all. Not that it's a big factor, it's just, you know, the notes I had. I think great approach game is the key. That you're probably going to hear that everywhere. It's no shocker. You know, great iron play. Be in play off the tee, hit good irons, and make your putts. You're good to go. Not really looking at much at around the greens. They are small greens, so getting up and down does matter. But I think looking at like short greens irons for us, which takes approach and around the green into consideration, is something I will look at. Obviously, holes 3 through 5, the horrible horseshoe, you get through that. 1's the easiest hole on the course, so if you can start off 1, 2 under, get through 5, and you're still 1 under or even, you're probably up on the field in most cases, and then, you know, have a good chance to birdies after that. Seems like a theme at most courses these days to have some kind of 3-hole stretch. Amen corner-esque, but it is tough. 3 through 5 is a very tough, long holes. Like I said, with the weather, I don't think, maybe Friday there's some scattered showers, but nothing like a big system that we see right now where there'd be a big wave advantage or anything. If you get some lightning, you need a little bit of delays anyway, so it's hard to really dictate what's going to be a great draw. The winds look fine this week. I don't see any issues with the winds. Highs in the mid 80s. So outside of potential rain Friday and the fact that they are getting a little bit of soakage the last week or two, I don't see any issues with the weather as far as building right now. Cut for me, I'm gonna put it at +1. In 2019, when the field size is what it was going to be this week, but it was T70 in ties, the cut was +2. So I think even +1's where we're going to be at there. And I got the winner at -16. Some past winners: Berger last year, Nall, Rose, Kisner, Spieth, Chris Kirk, Adam Scott. Some runners up: Duffner, Kuchar, Duffner, Spieth, Snedeker, English, Spieth, Rahm, Brooks, Finau, Morikawa. So you can kind of, the big boys do tend to show up here, but there's some mid-elite type players, I guess you would say, that have either been runner-up or won here for sure. Key stats for me this week: I'm looking at accurate drives, good approach, stroke gain irons, par 4 DK scoring, and approach proximity. as well as recent form, course fit, all that kind of stuff. I do think course fit is about on par with the rest of the tournaments. Maybe a hair uptick. You see a lot of guys that do play here well, typically do it consistently. But there are some that miscut even after they've top 5, top 10. So, I'll have it rated about the same. Recent form, I start to uptick it about this time of year, especially we got a lot of consistent tournaments coming in. I really want guys that are finding themselves as we hit peak golf season, I guess you would say. We just finished PGA. We're ramping up to the U.S. Open, the British Open, the Olympics, the Ryder Cup. I mean, it's nonstop with events heading out, moving forward. 11 guys out of the 120 that they have priced so far have not played here since 2016. So majority of the field, a lot of the field has at least played here once. I think that's, somewhat significant. So not a lot of new guys. Now, a lot of these guys may have only played once, would be in last year in 2020 where they didn't have the stands and all that. I'm not really factoring that a whole heck of a lot. I know the stands will matter, but it's anecdotal. I don't even know how you would determine it. So Morikawa's won. He finished second here. So because he got stands, he may finish different. I don't think so. I'm just going to say he plays well at the course where he doesn't. And they're going to have plenty of time, practice rounds, to take a look at this as well. Sweet 16, salary ranges. 10K, we got 5 guys. 9K, 9 guys. 8K, 10 guys. 7K, 38 guys. 6K, 56 guys. Sweet 16, I give you 3 picks and a bubble boy for each of the 4 salary ranges. I get to 16 guys. I got a fade of the week, sleeper of the week, gut feel, betting, one and done. We kind of get out of here. Nice, sweet, and easy this week. I know a lot of people, it was a long week, and it was, a lot of grinding. So I know a lot of people kind of worn out, so I want to keep it short and sweet this week. 9K and above for me, I'm going to start with Reed. Like where he was last week, finished 17th, had a 6th at Wells Fargo. He's played here twice, 2020 and 2016, had a 15th and a 7th. He's 12th on bent green splits for me. Not much I hate about him. I will say this is one of the lowest I have to go down the board to get a 6K guy in my rankings I've seen in a while. And it takes number 36 in overall rankings is Tom Hoagie. Leads me to believe there. Now, I do love the 7s. So could wind up having a loaded 7s or a lot of the 7s being peppered. But I do think you could see balance builds coming into play because I don't think the 6s are just extremely strong. Not that they ever are, but I'll be interested to kind of hear industry and all that talking about fading the top. What do we do there? The hard part is with the guys up top is you can make a viable play for all of them. Sometimes it's pretty easy to say, I don't want to fade it. I mean, I can fade him, but Morikawa has played here once, got a 2nd, looks great. Spieth, all kinds of great history here. 1st, 2nd, 8th, 10th, 32nd. Coming in great form, but he is the highest price. JT, 10th last year, first time he ever played it. Reed, I just mentioned. Berger, same deal. He won here last year. So be interested to see how that goes. For me, the only player I'm going to have in the Sweet 16 from the 10K above is Reed for now. I like him. I legitimately think he can get a win this week. I think the course suits him well. Coming in pretty good form. So Reed is in my core play right there for now. Corey Connors is 2nd, 9,400. Pretty good history here, really good history. 8th, the 31st, and 19th. We know he's won at the Valero. I know that's just kind of a Texas narrative, but just to say it, putting splits on bent are not great, but we know he's gotten so much better in putting here as a recent. We talked about that last week. Recent form coming in, he's 5th in the field, 21st, 43rd, and 17th last week. Not much to hate about Mr. Connors. I'll go back to him at 9,400. Willie Z, y'all know me, rinse and repeat there. I'm not getting off him. 9,900 is a great price. I wish he may have been in the 10K, just kind of put some ownership off of him, but I do like him. And Neiman is the bubble boy. The only reason there is I suspect at 9,300 he's going to be talked up and be chalk city. Doesn't mean I won't play him. One of my biggest notes I took from last night was just dissecting, and I took a fine line of 3 different time frames. I won't go into all this on the pod. I'm going to put together something for the premium members, but as PGA Golf DFS has grown, and especially since the reboot in June, and bigger pods, more people into it, more people understanding it, more coverage of it, more pods and all that, there's a, we're not to NFL levels of chalk where people just eat chalk in NFL all the time. I'm gonna play Mahomes this week. Or I'm gonna play Christian McCaffrey. I'm gonna play Derrick Henry. I'm gonna play Julio Jones or whatever the chalk may be that week, and then they'll just get different somewhere else. One thing I think I'm doing too much of is getting off of too much chalk, because we're starting to get to a point where the reason why some of these guys are chalk is because they are good players and in good situations. And, there's different ways you can get at it. Like in the NFL, you can get at it at being a little bit less owned than the field, but, being different elsewhere. You can get way overweight. We've talked about that. There's a lot of things there. And I think like last week, there was a few plays I really liked, and I didn't play them just for the simple fact of the ownership type part. Now, I still think ownership plays a very big part in the game here, especially on your large field MMEs, no doubt about it. Most of the people are a lot more keen to the 1 to 3 max stuff, just by the surveys we've done with our crowd. That seems to be the most. Even if they're only building 5 lineups, they may put 5 lineups in the $20 or $15. That's different. They're taking a lottery there. Even the 150, you max it, it's still a lottery, but at least you're even with the field. So on that 1 to 3 stuff, I mean, having good plays is not a bad deal. It's just maybe trying to figure out, okay, is this good chalk or bad chalk? Am I fading a good player just because I want to, or do I think he's being overhyped for the wrong reasons? That's a good time to pivot and fade, which I talk about a lot. But there's some interesting data and stuff that I started building last night. I'm always trying to get better for you guys. So that is one thing I want to focus on. There's a prime example. I love Neiman. I think he can win this tournament. He's going to be probably on the betting card. Do I take the approach and say, well, if he wins, at least I got a betting wise? I've never been that kind of guy for the most part. I'm like, well, if he wins, I want him in my DK because it means I could do well in there. But that's a diversity type deal. Diversifying your portfolio, however you want to do that. But Neiman looks good here. I just want to see how high he's going to be up there. I do think the top end of this board is so good that we'll see some spread out ownership, though. So I'm not extremely worried about who's going to get super chalky up there. I just want to kind of see how it plays out, because I think people are going to have to make decisions on how comfortable they are down low. I don't like a ton of people down low, especially for some core builds. So maybe guys stick with that high 8, low 9s and go, I'll just take my chances up top to see who may miss there or who may not. But Neiman's my bubble boy, strictly on seeing where the ownership comes in. I do like him this week, though. 8K range, I'm going to start with Harmon. Been on him for a while, sticking there. Tremendous putter as always. Course should suit him well. He's got 5 straight made cuts since 2016, a 25th, a 7th, a 14th, a 31st, and a 23rd. An 18th at the Wells Fargo before missing the cut at the PGA, but I'm not really holding that too hard against anybody. I mean, super hard course. DJ missed a cut there. JT missed a cut. I'm not going to hold against Harmon that much. Stat-wise, he's 14th in my model overall. He's 5th in par 4 DK scoring, which I really like. Harmon looks to be a core play for me this week. Tringali, I'll go right back there. Again, missed a cut last week. I did have a lot of him. Not a lot, but I was overweight. So that kind of hurt. Didn't even talk about Sam Burns. That one I got lucky there. I talked about it to the premium members. I was underweight on him only because I misjudged the ownership projection. One of my better ownership projections of the week last week the whole tournament. But I missed on Burns. I had him a lot lower than what he came in at, thankfully, because then it put me lower on the field, and a lot of our guys lower on the field. But that kind of hurt too. Him dropping out. I had a little bit of Molinari, not much. He dropped out pre-tournament, but post-lock. So some more crazy stuff from last week. Tringali, 17th and bent green putting splits for me. He hasn't played there since 2017. He did make the cut in 2016, 2017, nothing special. Missed a cut at Wells Fargo, missed a cut at PGA. I could see people kind of being off him all of a sudden. He did have a third at Valspar, though, so I'm not that far off him. At 8,100, I certainly like him, especially if I can get him as a under the radar, off everybody else's radar type of play this week. Hoffman, a guy I don't think will be off radar. I think he'll be squarely on everybody's radar, especially with the Texas narrative with him. He always seems to play good in Texas. Mid-average field and bent splits. 4 straight made cuts here before missing the cut in 2020. 2016, so he had a 42nd, a 24th, a 52nd, and a 13th. And then, like I said, missed a cut last year. Coming in as the second best recent form in my model. Sorry about that. Valspar, 18th. PGA Championship, 17th. Not much to hate. He is one I'll earmark and say he's a guy that I don't mind fading if he just becomes super, super chalky. Not because of good, bad chalk or anything like that. Just he's a guy that say he can, and we saw last year, he missed a cut here. He's getting priced up a hair bit more, 8,700. You do want a kind of a top 20 in that range. So I could take it or leave it if he's going to be talked up high. Meaning, so let's say I'll talk about this in E9 a lot with the premium members. If Neiman's chalky and Hoffman's chalky, not that I'm going to play one or the other only because they're $600 apart, totally a little bit different price range. But in a player pool build, I may say, all right, I'll eat the Neiman chalk and be off or lighter on the Hoffman. I may play both and then try to fade three of the guys up top. I mean, there's different strategies to still get on the chalk that you like versus saying everybody's chalk or I'm not going to play anybody that's super popular. I think that's a wrong mentality. We see it every Sunday in the NFL. Chalky guys are in lineups that win a lot. It's not always going to be a one-off type situation. And there's so much research and data and material out there for golf now that I think we have to start factoring that in just a little bit. My bubble boy is Strillman. I like him. There's no real reason that he's a bubble boy, only that I only take 3. He's got up or down course history if I wanted to nitpick. He's average. Bent's not his best putting surface, so those were kind of the reasons I put him as a bubble boy. I still like him, coming in really good form at 26th at Wells, 8th last week. Like I said, up and down course history here, a miscut, 18th, 76th, a 31st, and a miscut. So roller coaster a little bit there. So those are the only reasons I put him in the bubble boy, but I do like him this week. 7K, HP3, kicking it off, 7,400. I truly feel this is one of the courses that he could get his first win on. First PGA win. Obviously, he's won in Australia before. Number 1 in my stat model, 20th in recent form. Played really good on, overall last week. Got a 49th. I think he could really play well here. If he can just tighten up the putting and short game, around the green when it comes into play. As good as there is iron play, he's number 1 in par 4 DK scoring in my model. Number 3 in good approach. Number 5 in approach proximity. 17th in accurate drive. 27th in irons. I really, really can see him winning this week, and I like the price of 7,400. I'm sure he will get talked up. I don't know how much. I hope he doesn't a lot, but that'll be a guy that I say I don't care. I think he can win here, and at that price, I'll go overweight on him. Chris Kirk, we know he's won here before. Last 5 years, though, a 15th, a 67th, and 11th. Didn't play in 2019, and then a 60th. He's averaged the field. No, he's a little worse than average on Ben, actually. 71st in the field. Stat-wise, though, he's 16th overall. This course has all the makings. Obviously, he's won here, so he knows how to play it well. Some miscuts coming in. Miscut at the PGA, miscut at the Valspar, but still okay for me, especially at that price. I just need a made cut, some upside, and I think he displays that well. Griot, 7,900. Similar to HP3, Connors before he got his stuff. This is a course that you would think he would do well at, and he has a 55th, a 24th, a 3rd, a 19th. He did miss a cut last year. But it just comes down to the putter, right? He's going to ball strike it well, put himself in good positions. Can he get enough putter going to be up there? He's got a 14th at Wells Fargo, a 38th last week. So I think he's playing good. I like the price at 7,900. I definitely have some Griot this week. And my bubble boy was Glover. Again, like Strillman, nothing crazy on him. I like him. Big builds. He's probably going to make that easily. He's 19th overall in my model. He did have 2 miscuts back-to-back in 16 and 17, but a 23rd last year in where we started to see his game uptick positively. It was a much tougher field last year and a bigger field, 156. So to get 23rd is pretty impressive. Bent is one of his worst statistical splits. That's probably why I have him on the bubble, and that's really it. Other than that, he's been playing well. He's 10th in my stats overall. 7,300. We just need a made cut with some upside. I think Glover gets you there. He does have a little more risk to me of missing the cut if the putter is just dead. But I like him now as a bubble boy. 6K range. Get this wrapped up. I mentioned it earlier. First play is Tom Hoagie. He's 36 in the model. He's my highest ranked 6K guy in the model. Pretty good history here. A 17th, a 42nd, a 40th, and then he got a miscut. Nothing crazy though. Not the best form, but did make the cut last week and got a 64th. Before that, he had miscut. So I could see maybe the narratives there, but I don't mind him at that price. There's not a lot of guys in the 6K I'm just overwhelmed, excited about. So I like Tom Hoagie. Next may be my favorite play by Wednesday. Danny Lee, obviously from the area, plays that place a lot. 14th in course fit rank, a 22nd, a 6th, a 14th, and a 48. He did miss a cut last year. He has missed the last 2 cuts in a row, but he got 21st at Valspar. He is comfortable around here. 6,400. Really, I mean, if you want to get a guy that allow you to do some things up top, he could be the guy that I would go to. My next one I like equally as well. I really like the guys I'm on the 6K. I like them. I'm not like picking through them, but there's just not a lot of them down there that I get super comfortable with. But Brian Stewart, 6,700. 4 straight made cuts here, 24th, 32nd, 64th, 43rd. Did not play here in 2016. Top 25% in the field and putting on bent. He missed a cut at Valspar, then a 37th and a 39th. He did not play last week. 11th in my statistical model overall. You know he's going to hit fairways, and you know he's going to have good proximity. So at 6,700, I like him. I'll have him in the field, no doubt. My bubble boy, Adam Schenk. Don't really hate anything about him. He finally made the cut last year and got a 43rd, but prior to that had 2 missed cuts. 28th in my stat rankings. Maybe figure something out last year. He's one, I guess you could say, okay, the not having all the stuff there helped him because he finished 43rd, but the 2 years prior he missed a cut. Don't know. Again, that's anecdotal. I'm really trying to find guys down here, and this is one I like. He's on the bubble only because of that course history a little bit, but 6,500, I definitely don't mind having him in some MMEs as we sit here on a Monday night. Fade of the week for me. This is going to be easy once I make the decision, but I will full fade either Spieth or JT. I think the builds are going to be extremely hard, like I mentioned, with the way some of those guys are down there in the lower range. I don't see the necessity of playing both. And so I hadn't fully committed to which one. Obviously, when I get to Wednesday, I talk about my moving up, moving down, all that. If I had to pick one, right now it would be JT that I would fade. I would full fade JT and just hope I get through it. Missed a cut last week. I think he may. I don't want to say that. I was going to say maybe he'd work on his game this week, but these guys are still here to win when they show up. So I'm not going to say that. For only $200 more for a guy that I know knows this course extremely well and has shown it consistently and is playing really good, still finished 30th last week, I would go Jordan for the $200 more. I don't know if I get to either one of them, to be honest. I may just fade, move down, and maybe that's my big decision of the week and just say, all right, I hope those guys don't finish in the top 5, which they need to, and it allows me some unique builds. So that's where I'm at on that. My sleeper of the week is going back. I've flirted with him a few things on the premium content, but he is going to be, I don't think he'll be talked up a lot. Other than AT&T, he hasn't done a whole lot to pop people's eyes, but I'm going with Doc Redman. I don't think he'll be super popular this week. 7,200, showed life at Byron, had a ninth, bent, and he's one that struggles putting sometimes, but he does putt pretty decent on bent. He's 4th in my stat model, 11th in accurate drives, 6th in good approach, 8th in par for DK scoring, 14th in approach proximity. All big things I'm looking for this week. Now that we got a bigger sample size of his, he seems to, when he gets on for a little bit of a run. And then when he falls off, he definitely falls off. We know that. I'm hoping we're getting him on this run. This time of the year, gets on a good run. I'll take Doc, 7,200, sleeper of the week. Gut feel plays, I like Snedeker. He's 33rd overall in my ranking. 4 straight made cuts here. He did not play last year. 8 in bent putting. His overall statistical model isn't the best because of the approach stuff. But at the price, 7,900, I do like him. I think he'll do well this week. Kuchar, similar to Snedeker, I think Kuchar's just a veteran, knows his place well. He has a 6th, a 12th, and a 32nd. He did miss a cut last year here. He's 16th in bent splits. Like him, not a big Kuchar fan. I don't play him a lot, it seems like, but I don't mind him this week. Gooch, definitely like. I think he's on the upside. 3 straight made cuts, a 26th, a 39th, and a 44th heading into this week. At this course, he had a miscut, then a 29th and a 43rd. Putting, he's 44th in the field and bent, so that's okay with me. Overall, I like him, at the price tag, 7,300. I think he's a guy that can catch fire in a week in top 20 anywhere almost, and so I like him at that range. And then Kazire, 45th in my rankings right now, number 2 in bent putting. The only reason why he didn't really make the pool up top is the history here. A miscut, a 63rd, a 64th, a miscut. So not great history at this course, but I think we're getting him in some of his best form that he's been in a while. We've talked about that for the last 6 weeks or so. A 60th, a 50th, and a third at the Byron Nelson. Obviously, second in putting. So we know the putter can get hot. If he can just work on the rest of the game, 7,400. I don't mind him being right there in that MME pool type build. Betting for us, top 5 that pop in 2 long shots, provided by Monkey Knife Fight. Head over to monkeyknifefight.com. Use the code GUPS, G-U-P-S. Get a 100% match up to $50. Monkey Knife Fight is a prop bet style, you against the books, not playing DK strategy, salary, and all that. You get props, you choose all kinds of different ones. It's a great site. It's fun. It's different. Go try them out today. Use the code GUPS, G-U-P-S. You get $50 match up to your 100% match up to your first $50. Top 5 the pop for me is Reed at 22-1, Willie Z at 22-1, Neiman 33-1, Tringali 66-1, HV3 100-1. My 2 long shots is also Redmond at 100-1 and Danny Lee at 250-1. I'll probably bet a little bit on him, but I think that's a good each way bet if you have that option to you, or top 5, top 10 type bet at that big of a number. I can see him, being right there come Sunday if he has a great week. One and done, a smaller pot than some of the others. By this point, especially with 2 more majors coming, I'd hope you kind of have a little bit marked out. It's a good week where you could take you could go up top if you still have like a Spieth or a JT. A lot of people probably have burnt those guys, so you could use those type of guys. Morikawa, Reed, any of those guys has probably been used a lot. I don't mind like a Willie Z, a Kokrak, maybe Harm Scheffler. He can win here. You could get real sneaky. Neiman's another one that if you have him, this could be a good track to use Neiman on. Or you can go down and take a little bit of a longer shot. On HV3. Some of those guys are Chris Kirk, Griot. I don't know. Depends on where you're at. If you're needing to make up some ground in a hurry, this could be one to take a little bit of a chance on. I'm more likely to say go take a Neiman, Scheffler, one of those type of guys if you don't want to burn a big guy up top. But Woodland 9,200. I'm using the price as a reference to where he's at. I don't know how many people would use him. He had a 9th here last year, the only time he's played it. So some options up there. Definitely finalize that on Wednesday's Movers and Shakers. Don't forget E9 for the premium members. Wednesday afternoon, try to start about 4 or 5 o'clock Eastern time, depending on Kenny's schedule. If he can't make it, I'll let you know what time I'm going to go. Don't forget to use Smash 20, 20% off, includes a free trial, gets you 6 tournaments covered. Great time to join. If you didn't last week, we had a ton of people join. Appreciate all you guys, all you newcomers. Hope you guys enjoyed your first week. Hopefully a big bounce back week for myself, and we get back on the winning streak with the winner, our first round leader. Hope you guys have a great night and a blessed week, and I'll see you tomorrow.